Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, the Rekt Capital YouTube channel. Let's focus here on the macro downtrend, and we're going to be talking about the shorter term timeframes as well, zooming in onto the RSI, the daily, weekly, monthly. We're going to be covering all of that and more. Let's dive right into the video. Subscribe for more market updates like this going forward. Let's talk about this macro downtrend, and we can see that this is the pre-breakout candle, most likely. The monthly pre-breakout candle for Bitcoin. So essentially the analogous situation being this candle just below the resistance, this one as well in 2015. A pre-breakout candle essentially closing at or just below the macro downtrend resistance, and right over here we can see that it's resembling a little bit more of a 2019 scenario where Bitcoin is hovering below the resistance but not actually touching that resistance. But the way that this candle is similar to both cycles, both past cycles, is that the new monthly candle close, the actual breakout candle, occurs by closing outside of the downtrend. So if we just zoom in here, a new March candle would open at resistance essentially in a very similar fashion to what we saw here, the monthly open being at resistance really. And if we zoom in here, the monthly open closes beside the downtrend. So this is what happens when the pre-breakout candle occurs at resistance and closes there. So essentially what we're seeing across cycles is the new monthly, the breakout candle, the new monthly breakout candle moves beside the downtrend. So it's a technical breakout, but nothing like a normal breakout where you see just a strong candle form breakout towards the upside, although this is very similar to that sort of technical breakout. But we're seeing a edging out from the downtrend, and then we see a price pick up some momentum and rally towards the upside. So in March we're probably going to see that sort of edging out beside and then enjoying trend continuation. So right now, to break out beyond this macro downtrend, and it's not likely that we're going to see this happen this month, at least according to history, 26,400 is the level that Bitcoin needs to break, and it's having a hard time at breaking 25k to 24,700 right now. But a monthly close, because of this slanting downtrending resistance being slanting in nature, sloping, a new monthly close is going to occur at around 24,800 this coming March. So essentially this current resistance that Bitcoin is struggling with, it's going to become a confluent resistance, and that's going to be the resistance that Bitcoin needs to break to essentially break out from the downtrend. So it's going to be easier for Bitcoin to break the downtrend next month compared to this month. So essentially with each passing month, it gets easier for Bitcoin to break the macro downtrend. So in April, or rather March, it will be a little bit more difficult compared to April, because April is going to be representing the price point of around 23,400, which is this resistance here, which has been turned into a support this month. So that's quite interesting. So it's likely that we're going to see a breakout in March. And if we focus on the RSI trends, for instance, then we've broken up from this downtrending channel, the orange one, broken above the red wedge bottom here. And the question is, are we going to see a dip into this area? Because we saw that, if you remember from a previous video, we saw dipping in the RSI, and the RSI has since flicked up. And once we revisit this region, this bottom area, then typically we just see a launch into a new uptrend for the RSI. So whether there's going to be a dip or not isn't really a guarantee, but it looks like the RSI is pretty much positioned for an uptrend in the coming weeks and months. So this is the daily time frame. Interesting to mention this because we were covering this I was quite vocal about this in the past few videos about a head and shoulders potentially forming, and it had all the technical elements of a head and shoulders. So this being the left shoulder, head, and a right shoulder forming here, and the breakout volume was going to be quite pivotal. If we were going to get a sell side volume candle, then we'd see confirmation of the head and shoulders of a bearish breakdown. But because we saw a breakout on green buy side volume, which took us to beyond this weekly lower high resistance, just in time for a fantastic weekly close. And then this sell side volume candle occurred to just enable a retest of this weekly lower high. Well, we got an invalidation of the head and shoulders. So that volume, even if we see all the right things form in terms of the structure, the volume and the ultimate breakout on volume is what dictates directional bias. Really cool practical example of just how confirmation is really important, because this was going to be the neckline here and it could have gone either way. Ultimately we got a breakout on bullish volume, which is fine, and a weekly candle close above this lower high. Before we saw upside wicks, now we're seeing actual candle bodies, which is very good to see that. And before, right over here for instance, we got a failed retest of this blue level, and we got the same here, but this failed retest got price all the way to sub 20k regions, whereas this failed retest of the blue level only got price to 21,800 before a rebound actually happened to confirm a break beyond this lower high resistance. So now we're seeing a breakout beyond that lower high resistance, and this is the retesting candle, which is going to try and retest this region, which was a confluent area of resistance in the past, and in the more recent past, now we're trying to turn that confluent resistance into a new support. And this resistance is the monthly range high. So we saw a deviation below the range low, this monthly range low, and now we're seeing a deviation beyond the range high. And as long as Bitcoin holds this range high as a support, then this won't be a deviation, this will be actually a breakout. So what was a home to consolidation in the past here, we lost that range but reclaimed it, and rather than reclaiming the range low as a new support, Bitcoin just rallied to the range high and is now breaking beyond it. So hold this region as a support, and we're going to see a confirmed breakout from this range, which would already translate into breaking this macro downtrend, because this is essentially the area of support that Bitcoin needs to hold to enable a breakout. And the fact that we're going to close at this macro downtrend or just beside it is going to enable a sideways breakout, and that's when buy side volume is likely going to come in to enable a trend breakout and that trend continuation into a new macro uptrend. Because when we see macro downtrends break, multi-month downtrends, multi-month uptrends occur and emerge. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Feel free to join the Rekt Capital newsletter in the link in the description down below. And I'm excited to make an announcement later on this week about a project I've been working on. I think you're going to like it. Stay tuned for that announcement. Really excited to make it. But in any case, thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I'm Rekt Capital, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.